seen so many people fail at branding purely because they don't know how to think like a brand. My name is Burak. I've done over millions in sales with branded dropshipping, and in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can think like a brand, and I'm going to be giving you guys 3 key points that you need to have as a brand with multiple examples of other brands implementing this. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So first things first, when we are over here, we have 3 points that we're going to go into. The first one is going to be branding in and of itself. Now, with branding, what we're basically talking about is the feeling you give off to your customers, to people that buy from you, right? The easiest way to talk about this feeling is by having a community, right? Imagine this, with your family, you are basically like a tribe. You're basically like a community in and of itself. Every time you're with your family on Christmas, on Thanksgiving, you always have a certain feeling attached to it, right? Now, the easiest way that I'm going to be explaining this to you guys is with examples of other people doing it. Now, we have Here's. Here's is a basically an earplug brand which they have made so good for, you know, clubbing, for festivals, etc. And the way they do it here as a brand, and the way you need to also be able to implement this to yourself, is join the Here's family, right? Is joining a group of people that are already in the same niche or already the same like you, right? And as you can see here, we have first of all a guy that's a DJ. We have someone that is a music guy, right? We have another DJ. We have another DJ. We have someone on Ibiza or, like, you know, somewhere tropical where a lot of these festivals, etc. are held. So they're talking to their customers because they know these are the people that buy, that go to clubs, that go to festivals, etc. And they're trying to show that off with authority from bigger people in the same space doing that for them. Now, an easier example, which more of you guys would probably know, might be Young LA. Now, Young LA is a gymwear brand. Unlike Gymshark, they do it a slight bit different. What Gymshark does is they work not with the biggest creators like Arnold or, you know, these Trend Twins, etc. They work with smaller creators. Now, what Young LA has done and how they have basically came in the market and almost overthrown Gymshark, almost, not fully, right, is by making sure they have a different sense of community than Gymshark has, right? If you look at Young LA, you know Young LA is about this hardcore lifting, like, you know, just these iron, like the weights, etc. And they perfectly embody that by, you know, putting Arnold here or by putting all these influencers here, by giving off that feeling of, again, community. And the same thing with these guys. They have a huge community in and of itself. They have a community of, I believe, like 2.2 million followers or something, right? And when you put these people in here that have hardcore followers, you're going to get other people that are going to feel like they're in the same community, right? And this is the reason why it works, is especially with this line here, join the fam, right? Join the family. You're basically joining the crew. And when you join the crew, I want to make an analogy for the people that watch anime, right? If you guys watch One Piece, when people join Luffy's crew, that you want to follow along. I heard this quote a couple days ago. There are a couple series that are not like as watched anymore as other series, for example. And the reason being is, let's take 2 examples, right? One is someone is on their journey, and one is someone has already made it. People that have already made it, people are going to look up to him, wow, you're doing so good, etc. But they're not going to grow with him. When you're on your journey, when you're still growing, when you're still gathering everything together, when you're still learning and showing how you can do it to people, when you're showing your losses, when you're showing the good sides of things, more people are likely to engage with that. And the exact same goes also for branding. When you're basically talking about joining the crew, more people are going to go along with your new drops. More people are going to go along with your new releases. More people are going to go along with your new, 2.0 of the products, the second version of the products, right? And a lot of the times what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot more repeat purchases. And this all literally comes down from community and giving a feeling of brand, right, from the product. So when you have all of that in place, what you're going to get is higher LTV, lifetime value per customer. You're going to get higher average order value because more people are going to buy multiple different products. You're going to get loyal customers that literally almost will put their life on the line defending you, right? You're going to have higher profits because of all of these things attached to each other, right? Higher LTV, etc., etc. And then because more people are going to buy, you're also going to get higher brand awareness. And when you have all of these combined, what's going to happen is you're going to have like a catapult. Let me draw a catapult here. You're going to have like a catapult that's basically just going to fucking launch in the air, right? Instead of just slow growth, what you're going to have is like this. You're going to grow like a madman. And this is the whole idea with building a feeling, building a crew. And this is what Young LA has done. And this is, for example, the way they've been able to captivate the market so quickly, just the same as here's. This is how they've been able to captivate the markets super quickly. So the first point, which a lot of people are doing wrong, is branding, right? And that is what it basically comes down to, is giving a feeling. Now, the easiest example I can give with that is having a sense of community. So that's the first one. Then we have creatives and, of course, customers. Customers is by far going to be the most important one, which I will get into in a second. And this is going to be the most practical thing you can implement straight away, which we'll get into later on in this video. So with creatives, you also have to think like a brand. You have to act as if you're a brand already when you're going to be branding, right? So with your creative, there's two things we can do. Now, we talked about the community. We're going to go in there in a second. You have to, when you're making your creatives, always look upon your ICP. What is your ICP? Ideal customer persona, right? So your ideal customer persona is a person that would ideally buy your product or ideally be the one you're selling to, right? That is your ICP, simply said. So when you know your ICP, it's very easy for you to talk to their needs. So you need to be able to understand your ICP and their needs, very importantly. So what Here's has, for example, even on their website, this is just going to show you the way they do it and the way you can do it. Now, this is not to do with creatives, but this is on their website, and this you can literally put in your creatives, right? Here's will upgrade. They have this thing like scrolls from clubbing to festivals to travel to this to that, etc. So they're basically targeting multiple facets with this, but they have here's will upgrade your clubbing or your festivals, right? And then you have here the points that people are looking for if you were this ICP, your ideal customer persona. If you were to go to festivals, go to clubs, etc., what you're looking for is this, mainly, is keep the music clear so you can still hear the music from the outside world. You hear voices better when you're talking to people. If you've ever been in a club, bar, festival, in a very busy environment, you have to like scream all the time in someone's ear, right? Someone has to like come like, oh, what are you saying? What? Like, you get the point. It's very annoying to have that. And after that, your whole voice is, oh, you like talk. You can't talk, so it's a solution to a problem, right? And then most importantly, this is the most important part, premium hearing protection. When you go clubbing, just like these guys all the time, like these music guys, etc., what you're going to have after some time is you can have tinnitus, which is basically like hearing a peep, like a beep, the sound the whole time in your ear. And besides that, you can also have, your ears getting damaged. And this is the main thing that the ideal customer persona is looking for. They're not saying with this like, oh, use it while you're working. Just like me, for example, I'm not their ideal customer persona. I'm an entrepreneur that sits at his desk most of the time, that doesn't go to clubs, that doesn't go to festivals. I'm working. Hence why I have AirPod Maxes on and not Here's. Why? Because this blocks the noise. I don't want to hear anything. That's my needs, right? And they're not talking to me. They're talking to their ICP. They're talking to their ideal customer persona, which is someone that does go clubbing, that does go festivals, that needs the hearing protection, that he needs to hear the music, that needs to hear voices. I'm the complete opposite of that. Now, like you see here, they're talking about ear protection, good music, and being able to talk to each other, obviously. This is what their ideal customer persona needs. Now, with Young LA, what they have here is very, very fascinating how they even do this with pictures. For someone that is into branding, this for you guys might not sound like a big deal, but when you are someone that is, has a big brand or does branding for a very long time, you understand like, okay, this is very good branding actually. So what you have here is Jay Cutler. Now, for the ones that don't know, Jay Cutler is one of the biggest bodybuilders in like the traditional era, and he's won like shitloads of Olympias and shitloads of trophies, whatever. Big guy. Right? See it as the Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi of bodybuilding. And then you have some young guy here, right? But also the same thing is with them. They're wearing similar clothing. While one is super old, right? He's like 60 or something. And while one is 20 years old or 20, 25, whatever, right? They're basically, this is the idea with them. They're basically embodying hardcore gym rats. Right? When it was in Jay Cutler's era or Ronnie Coleman or Arnold Schwarzenegger, you also saw Arnold here, right? When it was in their era, when they were younger, they were pushing the weights like motherfuckers. They weren't thinking about this science-based lifting, which is exactly what they're, adhering to as customers. They're like hardcore gym rats, like lift as heavy as you fucking can, you just go at it, right? And this is the idea. And this is also how Gold Gym started, is basically a gym where you can like lift very heavyweight where all the big guys come. You're not gonna have some wimpy ass loser that's gonna come there and like, you know, lift small weights and be like, oh, it hurts and all this stuff, right? And then the whole idea is with the new guys, what they're targeting mostly is baggy clothing. And this is also all to do with their ICP and whatever they are in need of. These people with Gymshark, you cannot really wear Gymshark and be like, I'm a hardcore lifter. It doesn't really work that way, right? So when you do wear Young LA, for example, with this background, with the wall being like fucking ripped off and shit, right? With the shoes, the Converses, you know, these are like the hardcore lifters, and then you see like Gold's Gym, you know, that's a hardcore lifter. It's adhering to how people think in this in the fitness space at least, and how they would feel wearing this, right? When you wear that, or when you wear, you know, whatever these guys are wearing, or when you dress like Arnold or like Jay Cutler, you're gonna feel like you're gonna lift heavier. And this is the idea they want to give off, right? They're not lifting, or they're not trying to talk about this lowly, let's say like this fucking, what's it called, like these Gymshark, and then, you know, like you're just with these gloves on and they're like small. They're not doing that. They're going complete opposite. And this is why they've been able to come into the market and take over the full market straight away. And the only reason for that is going completely against what everyone else is doing and targeting what people want and people need by using also community. Now, we're going to first of all go into Here's, then we're going to go into Young LA. Once again, the way Here's has done it with their creatives, basically, is also a use of community. Now, you can use community. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. With creatives, what you need to do is understand your ICP, talk to their needs. Now, these are not creatives, but you can use, you know, these words as creative, the copy here as creatives, or you can use this picture as creative, for example, right? And when it comes down to the influencer, same thing. It's not per se a creative, like an ad that you're using, but because you're using this, it can like pull people in. And this is what you want to do with your ads. Now, they might not be doing it as ads, but this is what you need to do as ads. So with your creatives, you can use your community. It's one of the strongest things to do. If you see Ronaldo on an Adidas poster or like a Nike poster or something, you're gonna be more likely to buy it. When I was playing football when I was younger, when I was playing soccer for the Americans, when I was playing football when I was younger, I saw this Cristiano Ronaldo shoes. I was like, fuck it, I need to buy them. Shitloads of people did, and this is the way it goes. So you want to use people's name into your advantage. Now, if we look at this Anotro Music, this is on Here's website. This guy has 355,000 followers. 355,000 followers, right? And if we look at Trend Twins, this is from Young LA, right? These guys have 2 million plus followers. 2 million followers. Imagine they just make a post about wearing some clothing. Imagine how many sales you would get from that. Because also these guys, because of this following is not like some random like viral ones here and there. These guys are full embodiments of the brand. These guys have hardcore fans that are willing to die for them, right? So they're basically embodiments of the brand. If we look at Another Music, right, this guy, he is basically a musician slash a DJ. Trend Twins for Young LA are basically guys that go gym, that look huge, that look like, you know, hardcore lifters. Even with the background, you see it again, right? And if we look at their Instagram profiles, this literally represents what the brand stands for, what the brand is. This is why I also say they're basically embodiments of the brand, right? So we have Here's and Another. Here's is basically more targeted towards festivals, clubbing, you know, having live, all this lifestyle, etc. This is how these people are. You see them literally in the festivals. You see him here again, festival, announcing a festival. Here, video of them in a festival. Here in a club. Here in a festival. You get it? Like, this is what Here stands for. The age is perfect. They don't have old people pictures. They're not old. They're like from 20 to 35, 40 maybe, right? It's the perfect demographic. Right, the way they dress, even this is like all these hats and stuff. You see so many people here in the background also with hats and everything. This is how they literally dress. Their interest is just go clubbing, have fun, go Ibiza, go to these places, right? Enjoy their life. The lifestyle is the same, and the same thing with the festivals again. This is literally, at least for Here's and Another, this is a perfect embodiment of their brand, right? If you're a football brand, if you want to sell football shoes, you want to make new football shoes, if you collaborate with Messi, if you collaborate with Ronaldo, or if you collaborate with, I don't know, Lamine Yamal or Mbappe, people are going to think to themselves, holy shit, Lamine Yamal, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi, these are the biggest names in the space. These are the biggest footballers in this place, right? If you collab with them, it just perfectly aligns with who you are as a brand, right? It's a perfect embodiment of it. Now, another one for Young LA. What we're gonna have here, also a perfect embodiment of it. Like I said, Young LA was more hardcore lifting, and it was like, you know, you go after it, like a little bit of this crazy shit, right? Well, what do you see these guys? Look at this guy's face, bro. Right? You see that? You already know it has to do with it. You see this guy's body, right? They're fucking ripped there. They have these medals in their hands. They've won some show, whatever. Here, them going crazy. Here again, lifting. Like, it's just enjoying life. It's basically a hardcore audience that they've built because of them being themselves. And these are just crazy guys. And this is the thing with Trend Twins. This is why they have also, if we go up here, 2 million plus followers, is purely, and this is seriously what I believe at least, is they are purely themselves, being as crazy as they can be, right? They don't change, they don't watch their language, they swear, they probably, you know, just do stupid shit, they put a trend in themselves, like, they're super open about it. And this is what people love. Them being super complete, like honest about every single thing, and then also being crazy, having a good body, living the lifestyle like you see here, right? And this is literally as if these guys are literally the ICP, as if Young LA would literally sell to these guys. This is the whole idea, right? This is basically their ICP. This is the ideal customer persona. Only thing is, I mean, they would still buy because, you know, this is, they would, even if they were not working together, they're working together. But even if they were not working together, I would seriously think these guys would seriously buy from Young LA, purely because it's literally the embodiment of Young LA, right? So that's that part. Now, let's go up here. The most important part, customers. You need to be able to understand your customers. And the way that Young LA and the way that Here's have been able to make so much money, become so big, overthrow literally giants in the space, become maybe number one, maybe number two, maybe like get into top 3, top 5, top 10 in such a quick time, as if it's like nothing, is purely and purely because of this one line over here: understanding your customers. Because they understand their customers, and because they understand how to do something with their customers, which is basically selling to them, which is their branding and everything, right? They have been able to do that. So understanding your customers has 2 ways to go about it. So the first one is going to be your ICP, and then you have your drivers. Now I'm going to explain what drivers are in a second, so calm down. So first of all, ICP. Your ICP is your ideal customer persona, like we talked about. Who is this person? What is their age? What is their job? What country do they live in, right? What hobbies do they have? What interests do they have? Every single thing you need to know from your ICP, your ideal customer persona, you need to write out. So an idea of, or an example of doing this would be, for example, I'll take the Trend Twins as an example. Mike, for example, I think Mike is one of their names, right? Mike, 24 years old. He works at, I don't know, let's say he worked at he works at an accounting firm, and his hobbies are going gym, dirt biking, I don't know, what else would they do? Like some crazy shit, like horses or whatever, right? Their interest would be gaming, anime, like they also had an anime profile picture. You have to write all of these points down and make a full story of one person to yourself, so you can attack that person. And every single time you're going to sell, every single time you're going to make a creative, you're going to make your website, you're going to act as if this person, this one ICP you wrote out, this one person that you wrote out is the one that's going to buy, is the one that's going to read, is the one that's going to see your creative. And that is how you use your ICP. Now, of course, you have to make multiple ICPs because you're not going to just have one ICP, right? So, for example, I personally would also buy and wear Young LA, but I don't do anime, I don't do dirt biking or do this crazy stuff. But I would just buy it because it looks nice and it would be good gym wear, right? Not that I have already, but you get the point. So you can have multiple different ICPs that you can target. And this is also something that you need to do. So what I would recommend is write these out like in full and make like a big document of it. And I would recommend at least that you do 5, let me just make that a bit better for you guys, 5 ICPs, so you can actually understand what your customers are. And when you make these 5 ICPs, the best part about this is you're going to have, for example, let's say hobbies. One is going to like anime, one is going to like dirt biking, one is going to like horses, one is going to like this, one is going to like that. A lot of the times they're going to overlap with each other, right? They're going to come along the same lines with each other. And that is when you understand like, okay, this I can target extra, because even if you have Susan, that's a girl, she also likes dirt biking. And Mike, as a man, he also likes dirt biking. So instead of targeting like, oh, specifically men or specifically women, target dirt biking, right? This is the idea with your ICP. When you figure that out further with all these things and more, right? Of course, you can be able to understand your customer better. Now, the most important thing, at least in my opinion, and for you guys probably, is your drivers. Now, your drivers are what drives your customers to make a purchase. And this is more of a practical thing you can do. Same thing with the ICP. When you're young LA, when you're here's, you're not really looking super much at these as much as you would need to anymore, right? Because you've already established something. But at the beginning, you need to, and you have to. It's like a non-negotiable. You have to know these about your customers to be able to attack their drivers. Now, what are drivers? Drivers are what makes a customer buy. Once again, the first driver that we're going to have is a pain point. Why does someone that is a hardcore lifter need a new gym brand to buy from? Why can't he just go to, I don't know, Gymshark or Gymshark? Yeah. Why can he not do that? A pain point would be, for example, they're selling baggy clothing, right? A pain point would be it's too tight. Right? A pain point would be, for example, they don't feel as confident in the gym. They don't feel hyped up in the gym. They feel like whenever they step into the gym, they look like they look like everyone else. For example, these could be pain points. And as you see, these are not like it hurts something, like physical pain points. They're emotional pain points. It's a state of being. Right? When you enter the gym, at least for me, I don't really give a shit. I just walk in. I'll walk into the gym like this, white t-shirt. I don't give a fuck. But some people do, right? You want to target why they give a fuck. They want to feel confident because there's lots of chicks in there showing ass and shit, and you're like, holy shit, I'm wearing baggy clothing, my muscles are not popping, right? You're like, oh fuck, my chances are lower of getting a chick, if that would be the case, of course. With ears, a pain point would be you're actually getting pain in your ears, physical fucking pain in your ears. It's uncomfortable to have pain in your ears. Or, this is the reason why I showed it with the creative part. What you see here, you can't hear the music. That's a pain point. Right? You can't hear voices. That's a pain point, right? This is what you need to focus on when we are looking at the drivers. Now, you also have desires, things that they're desiring to have, right? For example, when you wear gym clothes, for a desire would be that you want to look good while lifting, right? For example, you want to look stylish while lifting. You want people to look at you. This is a desire you have. Then you have benefits of the product itself, what the product actually gives you. Right? For example, a benefit or a desire would be you don't want to sweat, right? Or a benefit would be that you actually don't sweat because of the product being baggy. Objections or fears would be like, for example, for the here's one, I'll switch them up now, is like for an objection or a fear would be, oh, is it going to fit in my ear? Or is it going to be uncomfortable? Or is it actually going to block out like tinnitus, or like block out me not having like, fucking shit in my ear? And is it actually going to let me hear the music? Or is it actually going to be easy to talk to people? These are objections. These are things they think about, like, oh, is it going to happen? Like, these are things they think about before they purchase. Now, the failed alternatives is things that they have tried but have failed on them. So, for example, an example with here's would be, instead of them buying here's or whatever, you have another one, Loop, it's called. It's a competitor. Or they might have tried these, like these headphones. Or they might have tried those foam ones, you just fucking have to stuff them down your ear. For the ones that know, you know. So these are failed alternatives. You want to write these down because you can use these in your website, in your ads, on your messaging, every single thing. How are you going to find this? Very easy. You're going to look through reviews. Now, this could apply to any brand. You can have a supplement brand, you can do this. You can have a clothing brand, you can do this. You can have a phone brand, you can do this. You can have a dog pet brand, whatever, you can do this. Every single thing. And the way we look at these is you go to Amazon, you go to your competitors, or you go to someone that's selling something similar to you. You look through the reviews, why people don't like it, what people are looking for. You look at what people are talking about in their life. Like, holy shit, like I had a peep in my ear for such a long period of my life. That's a pain point. Having a peep in their ear, it's a pain point, right? Or I was sweating all the time wearing clothing. That's a pain point. right? You want to target those things if that's a huge pain point they have. You can find them on Reddit. There's lots of Reddit forums or like these full paragraphs that people are writing down on Reddit. You go to your competitors, go look at their reviews. YouTube, there's lots of YouTube videos about tinnitus, for example, about hearing pain, for example, or hearing aids, etc. And you're going to document these. So what you're going to do is make a Google Docs or have a Google Sheets or something. I would recommend Google Docs. Write every single thing down, what people are talking about, every single pain point, every single desire, every single benefit, every single objection, every single failed alternative they have. Write all of these down. Let me actually make these dots red. Anyways, write all of them down. And then here's the point. Every single time, let's say you see a pain point, which is like, let's say sweat, that's a pain point. And then we have another pain point, which is just like uncomfortable, whatever. You see sweat, you see it once, you see it twice, you see it 3 times, 4 times, you see it 5 times, you see it 6 times, 7, 8, 9, 10. You write down how many times you see it, right? Why we do this is, if we see, for example, uncomfortable, which just got mentioned once, sure, it's a pain point, but if you see sweat fucking 10 times, that's a bigger pain point than being uncomfortable. So this is why we need a document. Be able to write every single thing down. And this is when we're going to use them. We're going to use them when we're making our ads, our creatives. We're going to use this when we're making our website. We're going to use this when we're going to be posting content on our socials. And we're going to use this especially also when we are thinking about collabs. Because if we look at this, right, if we look at the pain points, would you, I don't know, fucking Ariana Grande is a huge person, right? She probably goes gym. Would you, as young LA, go to Ariana Grande? No, right? Even if she's big in the gym, I don't know, right? It's not the target audience. It's not the people. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? Huge guy. He goes gym, like he has the body and everything. Would young LA really work with him? No. Reason being, he does not embody the pain points, the desires, all the benefits. He's not the ICP. He's not the ideal customer persona that you are looking to target, right? So what you need to do when you are looking also for these collabs, for these influencers, is you need to be able to document everything about your about your drivers, about your customer, what their pain points are, what their desires are, what their benefits are, everything they have, and figure out who your ICP is. Now, when we look at this, very simple example before we end it off, these motherfuckers are literally the perfect ICP of this brand. So if you were to target someone, you would much rather choose this instead of what is it called? Instead of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? So that's basically how you can think like a brand. So if you guys enjoyed that, follow, like, and if you guys are looking to scale your brand over 100K, 200K, and scale even beyond further than that, there's going to be a link in the description that I'm going to leave below for you guys. You can book a call with me. It does come with some cost and investment, but it's going to be the best decision of your life because we've had guys literally last month cross like, what was it, 95,000 in revenue, so almost 100K in revenue within their first month of joining. We've got guys in their first 2 weeks, they've been able to do 30, 40K in revenue. We've got guys that have been running consistent 100K plus months with theirs. So if you guys are also interested in doing the same or doing something similar to that, it's going to be a link in the description I'll leave for you guys. So click on that, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.